My name's Jason and welcome to my channel. Alright, so here's the deal. About 8 months ago, I came home from work. I'd had a really hard day. My kids had had a tough day at school, and I planted the seed. And I said to them, you know what? Why don't we just sell everything and just kind of check out of the rat race and just go. Sell everything and travel the world. And of course they're like, nah, Dad, we ain't doing that, blah, blah, blah. But the idea kept coming up. And so here it is. I planted a seed, and just like any seed, it starts taking root. So my daughter comes home the other day and she says, you know, I've been thinking, all you do is go to school and then you get a job and you work the rest of your life. I think I'm ready to travel the world. And of course my wife's like, she was against it at first, and now she's starting to think about it. And so now we're having this real conversation in my house about whether we should sell everything and just go traveling. The thing is, now my wife and I are really looking at the financial part, and we're really starting to think, like, would this be a viable option? Why don't we just sell everything and leave? Just travel the world till we run out of money and then figure it out. Which is kind of a crazy idea. But then I started doing research and stuff online, and I see that other people are doing it. It's funny because I watched a video the other day about a couple that lives in their van, and they were talking about how you can sleep in 24-hour gym parking lots just by covering your windows that nobody will really notice. And this weekend, I was at my gym, and I saw a van with the windows covered, and it is a 24-hour gym, and I thought, I know what they're doing. So anyway, I even took a picture. Here's the point. This comment was like a seed that was planted, and now it started to grow. And my family is like, you know what? Maybe this is something that we could do. You only live once, right? That's kind of like what we're toying with right now. I have 4 children. My oldest is 25. She's moved out. It really wouldn't affect her too much. My next child in line is 22. He still lives at home. He'd have to figure out something to do. He has a car payment and all that kind of stuff. Then my 2 youngest children, one's in 9th grade going into 10th, and one's in 7th grade going into 8th grade. And so this is the conversation that we're having. And it's tough because I don't want to like take away part of their school experience, but right now the school experience really isn't all that great.
Bueller, 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 Bueller.
He's sick. My best friend's sister's boyfriend's brother's girlfriend heard from this guy who knows this kid is going with the girl who saw Ferris pass out at 31 Flavors last night.
I'm just trying to figure out like what we should do. So this is what I need from you. I'm going to talk through some of the things that we've been thinking about, and if you have any comments, YouTube is a big world. I'm asking you, please share this video, because there's people out there with ideas, different ideas, better ideas, worse ideas, and just get all the ideas down in the comments as we decide how to do this, because we've spent 20 years building a lifestyle for ourselves, and we're about to sell it all, pack it all up. I told one of my friends that I was going to do this, maybe, and he was like, that is outside the box thinking for sure. And then he said, I think you should go for it. And then I told another friend, and he was like, I think that's not a good idea. That's the kind of stuff that I'm trying to work through right now. My wife and I are trying to process. And here's some of the things that we've thought about. Number one, how would we do it? There's a couple options we could do. We could buy an RV, but if we sell our house and take out our equity and buy an RV, then there's going to be like upkeep with that RV. And unfortunately, that's going to take a lot of our equity just to buy that RV, because we also have to pay off all of our student loans and all of our debts, downsize from multiple cars down to one car. So I don't think that's going to be an option anyway. We could go around and camp, but that's kind of not my family style to go camping. We're the kind that, like, when we go camping, we go rent, a 3-bedroom cabin in the woods with luxury countertops and all that kind of stuff. So that's not really our style either. And then the other thing that we thought of, there's this thing called slow travel. They say slow travel is cheaper than fast travel. So if we get an Airbnb for a month at a time, a month to 3 months, and stay in one area, it's significantly cheaper than like moving around every week or every couple days. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now. So please let me know in the comments if there's any ideas that I'm missing, or if you've done this, let me know. If you know somebody that's done this, let me know. Share this video with anybody that you know. But really, I just want to get some feedback, like some of the things that we need to think about. Another thing that we've thought about is insurance, because we won't have insurance with our job, so we're going to have to figure out insurance and how we would do that. We're both fairly healthy. We're middle-aged, so it's not going to be too expensive, but, we could still have stuff happen. So we want to be covered in that respect. And then we're thinking about international versus, national travel. I like to travel internationally. We've all got passports. but that's going to be more expensive, and in some ways I feel like it could be more dangerous. Actually, everybody in my family other than me would be girls. I got my wife and my 2 girls, so that kind of I've traveled a lot internationally, but I've also been in some very compromising positions. It wasn't worrisome when it was just me, but it would be worrisome with them. And so the other way around that would be to go to the more westernized countries, but those are the more expensive ones. I mean, I'd love to go to Ireland, Switzerland, Sweden, all the European countries, all that kind of stuff. But I just don't know how cheap that would be, because at this point, I think we would have enough money maybe to last a year. And during that year, I would be trying to figure out ways to create more income while we're traveling, or to get a job that's remote. But if I don't figure that out, we've only got about a year to travel. And that's not if we go to expensive places and we're buying plane tickets, because one of the other things about traveling nationally is we don't have to buy plane tickets. We just have to drive. So let's say we want to go see Colorado. We'll go to Colorado. We'll get an Airbnb for a month. We'll buy all of our food at the grocery store, right? And then we cook all of our meals. We go hiking. We go backpacking. We go see things, rock climbing, whatever there is to do, horseback riding. And then after that, we'll drive to our next location, whatever it is. So we won't have to buy plane tickets. Travel gets a little bit more difficult with a dog. We do have a little Havanese dog, and we're going to have to figure out how to take him around, because my kids would be devastated if we didn't take the dog with us. I know one spot that my daughter wants to go is Hawaii, so we'll have to figure out that. Maybe we can leave the dog with my parents while we go on a couple international trips, or a couple trips where we have to fly. So that might be one option we do with Hawaii, but I don't want to leave the dog there a lot. I just don't want to put that on them. So there's like all these things that are going through my mind. I know that I'm missing stuff. One day it seems like a great idea. The next day it seems like a crazy idea and a stupid idea, because then let's say we do travel for a year and we come back. Now we've sold out the equity of our house, and then we've got to buy another house. I don't see house prices going down in my area. I live in Florida. I guess we could start somewhere else in a whole nother state and just stay there for a while. But really, I'd like to come back to Florida, because I already started my Florida retirement, and I'd like to finish it out here so I get a full retirement, and I get the state pension plan. So there's just a lot to think about. The minimalism thing, I mean, we're going to have to sell I don't know if you can see this, but this is our pool on the golf course. I like this house. So we can say goodbye to the hot tub and the pool. We can say goodbye to the ping pong table. Everything in my son's room would have to be sold. Everything in my daughter's room would have to be sold. Everything in my other daughter's room would have to be sold. Everything in our bedroom would have to be sold. Everything in the bathrooms would have to be sold. Everything in the living room, the garage, the kitchen, pots and pans, everything would have to be sold. It seems very risky, but it seems very exciting at the same time. And I know there's people that have done this, but the benefit would be my stress level, at least for that first year, would go way down, because neither one of us would be working our full-time jobs, which have become very stressful. And we get to spend time with our girls and get to make some memories. And maybe my son would figure out a way to go. I don't know. Please do me a favor, because I need to reach as many people on YouTube as possible and get as many comments as possible. Any ideas that you have, give me a vote. Thumbs up if you think it's a good idea. Actually, don't give me any thumbs down if you can help it. Thumbs up if it's a good or bad idea. Drop your comments down into the description. Things that I should think about. Questions. I would like to have a conversation with you. I'll probably respond, especially if you get me thinking about something I hadn't thought about. If you know some cheap family insurance plans or something that I should get, let me know, because right now we got to start figuring out too, like, what would it cost if we didn't have our mortgage in our house? Because we still have life insurance, we still have car insurance, we still have things that we have to pay, and so we're gonna have to figure out how much it would cost to actually make this happen. So I'm excited, but I'm asking for your feedback on this one. I appreciate you. God bless. I'll see you on the next episode.